So the first story that we're going to cover today is about, it's from this lady named Erin Molan. She's a content creator on YouTube. I think she's British, and she seems to cover like maybe women's sports, or I don't know. I just found her today because I was Googling content and I found this story interesting. I do not watch the WNBA, but my job wants to start supporting the WNBA. So a way for me to get brownie points is to go on these little missions and watch the WNBA with my job. my day job. Okay. So I'm trying to get into what's going on in the WNBA in sports. Okay. So I found this story interesting. This story is about WNBA star Sophie Cunningham. Okay. And apparently people are dragging her for filth because she said something along the lines of she agrees with trans women being banned from women's sports. Okay, so basically she's saying, she finds it unfair that women have to compete with men inside of women's sports is basically what she's saying. Okay, and so people are dragging her for filth. So the other night she had a basketball game, and well, because she has these beliefs and she's been openly vocal about them, people are protesting her. And she went to play a game the other night, and a coach had the audacity to show up with a shirt that said something along the lines of, I don't know, allegedly, that trans kids have rights too, or something like that. I'm going to let this video play. Mrs. Erin is going to tell us about it. She's really intense. She's really pissed off. Okay. She's very passionate about it. So this is why I picked her content to showcase today. I'm using this in the guise of fair use. So hopefully Erin doesn't hit me with a strike. But for all of you rosebuds that find this content interesting, I will be sure to leave the link to this video in the description box so that you can see it once the show concludes, and you can go and either subscribe to her channel or give this video a like for yourself. I already have, but yeah. Okay, so I won't talk anymore. Let's hear from Erin about Sophie Cunningham and what this coach did during her last game. Okay, here we go.
Okay, I'm annoyed.
She's annoyed, y'all.
Like, seriously annoyed.
Like, seriously.
And I don't really get that annoyed that often. I mean, I get shocked and I'm appalled frequently by the state of the world. But this has really pissed me off. WNBA coach wears "Trans Kids Belong" shirt to game against Sophie Cunningham. Minnesota Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve sends a message from the sideline wearing a "Trans Kids Belong" shirt during Sunday's matchup with Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Fever. Okay. There were protests outside. Sophie is being booed when she runs onto the court. Can we be brutally honest here? And
yes, let's be brutally honest.
Let's be honest. That's really all I know. I'm not a big filter person unless...
Hold on, let's see. Cases says they see Sophie like the great YT hope, like Caitlin Clark. There can only be one. So I thought Caitlin Clark was the like bee's knees of women basketball. It seems like Sophie's getting attention, but for the wrong reasons. But again, I don't really follow women's basketball, so you guys have to tell me. Was Sophie really popular before she made this comment about trans people playing in the NBA? Like, were people checking for her, or are people just checking for her because she made this comment? Like, I'm interested in knowing that, because again, I am just now following this women's basketball.
Yes, it's the Paris one on Instagram, and I've had, well, not a lot of sleep. But that aside, this is their playbook. This coach wears a trans kids belong shirt. And by the way, absolutely great. Love that. Sophie Cunningham, though, doesn't need to be told that because she's never said anything even remotely resembling that. And this is what they do. They do it for everything.
Yeah, I agree. You see how you see how she just said trans women should not be in women's sports, and now all of a sudden she's being crucified for making it seem like trans kids shouldn't be in women's sports when she never said anything about kids. You see how if you say anything like someone is dying and chomping at the bits to misconstrue your words or misconstrue your words, okay? And no, that's not cool. That's not right. You know what I mean? Like this lady is going to a basketball game. She's trying to do her best. And you done ginned up a whole protest outside. I work somewhere that's super, it's a place, and we don't like protesters. They're scary. Okay. You never know what's going to break out when there's a protest, even if they're elderly and you think, the elderly, nobody would possibly tote a gat out here. Oh, the elderly are toting gats. Okay. I'm going to LA Fitness and I'm working out in the gym and I'm running on the treadmill and I see elderly men in there working out with gats. Okay. I live in Georgia. Where do you live? Okay. So, yeah. All right. What's good, Kennard? It's good to see you.
For everything. It's the same as Boy George doing a song saying, "We will dance again." For the kids shot at a music festival and all of a sudden he is a genocide supporter. No, but they come out with, "George, screw you for supporting genocide, cancel him." He doesn't. It's the same thing here. Sophie Cunningham has said that males, biological males, do not belong in women's sport. That's it.
Okay, so what do you think? What do you think? Y'all tell me. Do y'all think that it's unfair that they only want to make women's sports for biological women? And that means women that were born with a uterus and or ovaries and estrogen. Okay? More of that than testosterone. Okay? Clearly a female at birth. Okay? Thank you for the gold coins, Lee Turner. I see you. Thank you so much for supporting me, sir. Yay to the jewels. I got some jewels and I got some memberships, y'all. Thank you so much. If you're coming into the show, please hit the like button for me. I really appreciate you. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm on the road to 4,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. But yeah, if you can, like, tell me what you think in the comments, either right now in the live chat or on the replay. Do you think it's unfair that they do not want men playing women's sports? Because that's essentially what they're saying. They're saying men belong in men's sports and women's sports is not for men. I mean,
that is the rational, sane.
Yeah, I agree. It is rational and it is sane because, like, if we're gonna get rid of that rule, then just why have rules in wrestling? Why not put like a 450-pound person sumo wrestler against like a 125-pound fighter? Like, we should just do that too, right? I'm being facetious, but you see what I'm saying? Like, is that fair? Would that be fair? I don't think it's fair.
Commonly shared stance. It's a safety issue. It's a fairness issue. It's not an anti-trans kids campaign, but this coach saying, oh, trans kids are well. This is what they do. The straw man argument. She is trying to say that Sophie is against trans kids and she's excluding them and this is evil. No, it's so dumb. It's so evil. It's so calculated. And this is how they silence people. See, I would not care less if it was me. I'm so battle hardened in this space, whatever. But people like Sophie, this will rattle her because the thought of her doing something that hurts kids would make her feel sick, like most of us. And she will now be terrified that this is how it's being framed. She will step back. She will stop doing the most powerful thing she was doing, which is speaking common sense. And this is...
I don't think somebody that plays basketball is such a high level as this Sophie Cunningham person. I don't think that this will rattle her, but I do think that it's important that the basketball court and away game should feel safe while you're on the court playing the game. And when somebody is wearing a shirt or something that is actively making the crowd boo you or throw things at you or is kind of like stoking the flames, I think that is not right. I don't think that's cool. The coaches should keep their own personal opinions and their politics off the court. If Colin Kaepernick can't take a knee, then the coach in the basketball in the WNBA, a WNBA coach should not be able to wear t-shirts that are going to gin up the crowd, especially when one of the players are getting scrutiny for something similar to what she's advocating for on her t-shirt. I think that's fair. So I think this lady has a point. And I think she's super cute. Like, I love her little beachy hair and her little dress is so cute. It looks like she's wearing a Diane von Furstenberg dress, a little wrap dress. And I like her stack necklaces. I think she's cute. Okay.
How they win. That t-shirt is BS. Sophie never, ever, ever attacked trans kids. Trans kids deserve all the love in the world. They deserve a lot of help. They need help. They need support. Okay, but it's like any child, you can't always do and be in everything that you want. Just like when I was little, I couldn't play in the boys' soccer team.
Yeah.
That wasn't me being...
Yeah, it's just some things I just think are just natural. I feel like if trans people feel if they want to be included, I'm all for it. But like, why don't you fight for like your own designation? And so that way, this designation is included in all of these other things. Like, I think maybe you handle that first and then you can be included, but you would be included as that designation. You know what I mean? To keep it fair, because we have to keep it fair. It's just not fair that you possibly grew up with 35 years of testosterone pumping through your veins every day. And then at 37, you decide you want to go from Lewis to Laura. It's not going to take away all those years of testosterone. So you're still going to be the same strength as a female as you were as a man. I think that is fair to deduce. I don't understand why people get mad. It's like you wouldn't expect somebody in a wheelchair to play basketball against Michael Jordan. You just wouldn't do that. So... yeah,
excluded in this horrific campaign of hate. No, it was just the reality of the situation for reasons, like I said, safety and equality, fairness in sport. And you know what?
Yeah, because listen, could you imagine if somebody like Big Worm decided he wanted to play women's basketball and just put on a Kendra G wig and start playing basketball? He would be like... he would be dominating the court. Is that fair? Is that fair? It isn't fair. That wouldn't be fair. That would be too much. So I don't understand why there's so much backlash about it.
It's just the way it is. This t-shirt and revving up the crowd and getting all these people on board to now attack Sophie will mean that every other person who was thinking of saying something that is so rational, normal, simple, but that might need to be said in an environment that has gone bat-beat crazy won't do it. Because they'll be terrified that they'll be painted as some kind of anti-trans children campaigner. It's BS. This t-shirt is BS. And it annoys me because I see it every day. In every space you see it. You speak out against something, it gets framed as something completely different to get the masses on board who are too lazy to actually look at what the issue is. So people who are not following this, or who just look at headlines and go, see this and go, that's not nice. Why would Sophie be trying to exclude? Like, sorry, it's so dumb. It's a straw man.
Yeah, it's enough of her. I think we get the point, right? Like, we'll see. So we'll see how this goes for her. Like, we'll see if this, beautiful Amazonian, she is tall as hell. Like, I mean, how she's not a model, I don't know. I think she's really beautiful. She's in this top right corner, or at least it's my right. But yeah, I think she's pretty. I think, it's fine for her to have an opinion. But when you put stuff like this out here, the crazies go running with it. But I agree with Sophie. I wonder what you think. Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. If you're here now, like, if you don't mind, could you put a 1 in the chat if you agree that, trans women should not play or be included in women's sports? Or do you think that they should? Put a 2 if you think that they should. That would be cool. Okay, so that was my video on Miss Sophie Cunningham, and that content creator, her name was Erin Molan. I subscribed to her. I gave her a like. I will leave her video linked in the description once the show is over.